In this video, we're going to complete the Ablative Consolidation guided notes, which are located in your Chapter 31 packet. To start, let's think about what we already know about ablatives. We've run across many different uses of the ablative case. This case can be thought of as a junk case, kind of like the junk drawer I have in my house full of stuff. Maybe you have one too. And it's called this because it can be used to express so many different things, just like there's so many different things in that junk drawer. On the most general level, the words in the ablative case in Latin translate into prepositional phrases in English. However, in Latin, they are not always used with separate prepositions. This makes us able to split ablative phrases into two groups, those with prepositions and those without. A noun or noun phrase in the ablative without a preposition can be referred to by the acronym NIAWAP. A NIAWAP just stands for noun in the ablative without a preposition. Preposition. So let's fill in the chart below to organize some of our old ones as well as some new types of ablative constructions. So some ones that we already know that are with prepositions. On the left-hand side, we have ablative of place where. Okay, that could have prepositions such as in, for example, in urbe, meaning in the city, or it could be sub, right? Sub arbore, under the tree. Both of those prepositions take an ablative, which you can see at the E there. Also with prepositions are ablative place from which. For example, prepositions such as a or x. We also have a or ab. And we've seen many times over and over ex agris, out of the fields, showing place from which. Another common use of the ablative with a preposition shows accompaniment. This is with the preposition cum. So for example, if you're walking to the store cum Marcus, right, we would change the Marcus to Marco, with Marcus. And then one of our new uses is called ablative of agent. The clue is if we see a passive verb. We've talked about how passive verbs don't take direct objects. They come with this idea of by afterward, right? The boy was seen by the girl. So the preposition that you see in Latin with this is the preposition a or ab. For example, if you wanted to say the boy was seen by the girl, we would say a puella in the ablative. Okay, and that shows the agent, right? The person who's actually doing the action of the passive verb. Now, on the right-hand side of this column, we have the NIAWAPs, right? The nouns in the ablative without prepositions. One really common one that we've seen a ton of is the ablative of time when. Very commonly, we could maybe say aistate, which we saw chapter 1 of Ecce Romani. Aistate, our clue, is that it's going to be a time word. Now, the word aistas in Latin means summer, right? Summer is a time of the year, season. So, for example, aistate would be our example, and it's translated in summer, right? It's explaining when, time when. So, when are you going to visit your friend? Aistate, in summer. Notice you have to add the word in English. Doesn't exist in Latin. It's a NIAWAP without a preposition. We also can express time within which. Now, this is very similar. We also need a time word, just like we had in number 1 in this column. The difference is that it's showing more of a general time period. So, an example could be brevi tempore, so which translates as in a short time. Again, notice we don't have a preposition in Latin, but we do in English. We add the word in. This is showing the time within which something's happening. It doesn't say exactly when, but it's happening within a short time. Another common one that's everybody's favorite is means or instrument. Now, a clue is that it has to be an inanimate object. Okay, we can't use a person for this one. So, for example, our famous one is bakulo in the ablative, which means with a stick. If you hit someone with a stick, like they do in our story, we would put that in the ablative and add the word with in English. So, NB, our nota bene here, is if you're doing this with an animate object, you're actually going to use ablative of agent, so like we had over there. So if you have an animate object like a person, you would be using ablative of agent. So the boy was seen by the girl is abuela, but the boy was seen, or the boy was seen by the dog, we would just have the word cane, right? Cane in the ablative. All right, ablative of manner. This describes how an action is done. Not physically, but the manner in which it's done. So the most common example we've seen is magna woke, which we translate as in a loud voice. So how is the person shouting in a loud voice? A voice is not a physical thing. It's not like you're grabbing the voice and throwing it somewhere physically. You're just using that sort of to express yourself. It's how you're doing it. So magna woke would be ablative of manner. Again, we're adding a preposition in English, but it's a neo-op in Latin. There's no preposition, but we have to add it. And then two new ones in this chapter. Ablative of cause describes the cause of an action. So if you said you were delighted amore by love, right? Maybe it's because of love. So we would translate this because of love. It's showing what caused your delight. Now this one you tell by the context of the sentence, and in English we're adding the prep phrase because of. And then finally, ablative of price describes the price of an item. So if we're talking about, it has to be money words, right? Money or number words. So if I wanted to say we bought the meat for 8 denarii, we'd say octo, which is a number, it doesn't decline. But denarii, we'd have to put in the ablative, denariis, and that would mean for 8 denarii, which is just their type of money. Okay, we added the word for because we have an ablative ending here. So now that you've watched this video, I'd like you to review this. Think about it, look over your notes, think about some other examples, and then go ahead and look into the description of this video to take the quiz to see how well you understood it. Now, it won't give you your exact response back, but tomorrow in class we'll be able to review together to see how well you understood the material on this page. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.